So One Dark Night, I love hearing the audience respond to it. It's so much fun. I knew when Fletcher goes awesome. I knew everyone was gonna love that moment.
Yeah, that's been sort of Fletcher just in general has been what most people have sort of responded to.
I respond to the whole
part.
family. I think your casting. I mean, I love this film, the writing, directing, everything. I think you. I really want to see you get to do a feature-length horror because that's better horror than I generally see, and I found it really compelling. But the husband and wife, I love them and their shorthand dynamic.
Who are now husband and wife, actually.
Really?
Not because of it. They were fiancé and they've known each other forever. But actually, yes, because of it. No, that was.
Yeah.
I'll just go with it. It's
Her
totally
mild
fine.
dismissal of him and then willingness to.
Right,
Okay,
but it's
fine.
also made them really easy with each other, right? Because there's no, it's not like here's somebody meet this person, now go into a tent,
Yeah. And when he insults her mushrooms, she really was offended.
A little bit,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that was an easy take actually to get that shot.
And then you had to take Fletcher away from us at the end.
We did. Poor Fletcher. There was a different ending for it. Not that we shot. Sort of in writing, there was. It was a little bit more of a Disney-esque ending, which basically would have been, they get the Axeman pulls the woman into the tent, they come out, they're gone, and then Fletcher comes out and all that. And effectively, it was going to sort of cut to the next day with the trash truck there and all their tent and camping gear thrown in, and goes up into the trash truck. That was going to be the ending. That was when my wife told me the script was cute. And then I'm like, yeah, no, that's not how we're going to end this. So it went off to a darker place. And more so because there is a lot sort of more to tell.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, it also sets up I want to know what happens next because obviously there's some interdimensional thing going on. And
there is.
And I love how, on repeated viewings, you see the whole thing holds together perfectly because the story of the Axeman actually does leave room for him to be the hero.
Yeah.
And the women who look like victims are the demons with the...
Yeah.
And what good demon acting you got out of there, man. Her on the floor?
Out of Jade? Well, I hadn't met Jade. So everybody, all the actors that we generally work with are all part of this sort of improv group that some of my friends are a part of. So they're like, let's have Jade be the woman. I'm like, yeah, sure, great. So we did it, and the first time the first thing we shot was actually in my garage. So all of the stuff that's in interior tents is all in my garage. We sort of built an exterior, interior in the garage and built sort of dirt paths and everything. And she sort of fell in and did all of her screaming and stuff. But the first time she was really in makeup was in was sort of the reveal shot of her in the bedroom, right, where it cuts to her as opposed to the Axeman, because most people just assume the family's going to get killed and you're going to roll credits. So I was just laying there and I'm like, okay, action, and she's a very nice person. I mean, Jade, and she just started growling and going off into this weird place, and I'm like, it was terrifying, just being 2 feet from her, getting that. And then she kept doing it over and over and over. And her prosthetic, the teeth kept falling out, and we have a great sort of outtakes reel, but yeah, for another time.
Excellent. And so let's put it out right here, Patrick.
I don't have any questions really, just comments. It really reminded me of the movie Poltergeist, and especially the ending you're talking about where they take out the trash. They take out the tent, throw the trash. It's the same shot as when they push the television out of the hotel room.
Right.
But it totally reminded me of it in a really, really cool way. There was a lot of elements there of it, everything. Like when the little Caroline girl gets lost away, a lot of it was very, very reminiscent of it. It was really cool.
Yeah, because I'm sort of a product of just sort of 80s horror, right? Yeah. So for me, it was 80s and I guess newer horror, because it was more sort of a mashup between Friday the 13th from that era and Insidious sort of from now. So it sits in sort of those worlds. But Poltergeist, all of that stuff was actually doing something on the original Pet Cemetery over the last week, and it also reminds me of that. Looking back, I'm like, that's kind of little Gage, little kid. I mean, and I'm like, yeah, well, that was there too, I guess. You never know. So.
Right here in front.
How many days from start to finish, and how would you divide those days between rehearsing and actually having the cameras running?
No official rehearsing that involved myself. Nate and Sabrina, the mom and dad, were just sort of rehearsing on their own when they could, and it was just it's you, do however you want to do it. So they sort of ran with it. One read through like the week before we started shooting, and then we shot over a couple of weekends. So we shot on a Friday night in the backyard, all the campfire stuff, and the running into the house from the tent stuff. The next day or the day after that, we shot in the garage for a full day, and then just did the police stuff in the backyard. And then the following weekend, we moved to the other house, which was the interior. Like the exterior is my house, but the interior is one of the other people, and that was basically a day there, and then one sort of night in a park actually in Brentwood, which was close to where the kids lived, who are actually brother and sister. But, so yeah, it was like, I like to say it was like 3 full days, but that's just broken up into some compartmentalized stuff. Yeah.
Right here?
Are you planning to make a feature? What's the long time, by the way?
1830, roughly. Yeah, I mean, every short we do is sort of usually the first part of a longer feature. So it's that first 10 to 20 minutes of a feature. I've got a vast majority of it written, and I know kind of where it goes and how it gets there.
Very well done film.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I've actually gotten sidetracked on another short, a shorter short, like a 7-minute short, and a feature that I've got with a bunch of sort of my filmmaking and screenwriting friends that we're sort of writing. It's sort of an anthology that all sort of connects and is actually a feature, but it'll kind of look like an anthology till you get into like the last 20, 30 minutes of it. But so maybe we'll shoot that next year.
Technically, really, really well done.
Thank
The
you.
lighting and how it's shot is really remarkable.
Very natural.
You work with the same team or cinematographer, or
This was the first time that I worked with Max. Max is a friend of a person I work with who does. I mean, he does this stuff, and I will continually be working with Max on all the next stuff that comes.
have you done before this?
Like 4 or 5. That actually want to show probably like 3. But you get the cobwebs out and you move forward and stuff. So
Very well done.
thank you, appreciate it.
And you work full time in the industry.
I'm in the industry, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, on the technical side.
yeah, I run tech services at Paramount. So I just all the post side of this I do all the time anyhow. So it's just an extension. Sort
I
of
like
that.
throwing that in so there's people
Yeah.
working hard who still on the weekends are being creative.
Yeah,
Because
and it's actually
yeah. Because a lot of people could work full time like that and then come home and go, I have ideas, but I'd rather
Right.
rest.
Right, and it's easier to not do it than do it. And that was sort of the 4 or 5 years ago, we actually did I want to call it a film with my kids and all of their friends. My wife let's make a movie with the kids and all their friends can be in it, right? It ended up being like 45 minutes long, but it was one of those things that was kind of like, if you can do that, because it had a ton of special effects. I'll give you just the sort of the log line of it is sort of Darth Vader is down on his luck in the Empire. No one likes him anymore. Can't get any stormtroopers, so he recruits all the 80s horror movie villains. So there's Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, random red shirt Star Trek, person, zombie, and I don't know, Norman Bates is in there, but it doesn't matter, right? But we had to get all these kids, so going through that and the pain and hell of doing all the green screen, all of the stuff, the fact that it looked good and it was actually funny and interesting, was like, yeah, we're going to actually continue to do this. So the next summer's kid project actually became not a kid project, and,
Got
sort of
2.
rolled.
You want to go first?
Oh, sure. Speaking of using kids, in this one with the kid, was
Fletcher.
he there when the guy was actually doing the dialogue about the scary story?
Oh, yeah.
Was he there for all the action stuff?
Yeah. I mean, some of the takes where it's just sort of Nate and sort of close up on him, they were probably sitting off in the corner with their mom or whatever. But he was totally into it too, And he's been, I mean, after this, he started like writing his own stories. He wanted to make movies with his friends. And actually, in another festival recently, he was nominated for Best Young Actor, which was cool, So
That was actually my question.
Oh, that was your question.
yeah, Fletcher's great. But there is a lot of manipulation to get around Fletcher, because it's like, Fletcher's don't look at the camera, don't look at the camera. Or he's looking at his mom off the side and talking. So there's a lot of like blow ups or whatever. Or he's sitting in the tent, you know, as all of the action is going on. He's just sitting there like this, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to blow up around and, you know. So there was a lot of
kids.
animals and kids.
They
but
don't
he was
take
fantastic.
direction.
Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. It was a pleasure to work with both of them. Both the kids
Absolutely.
were great.
Hand up there.
Sorry if I missed it. Did you say that you are looking to make this a feature? Or?
Yes, but it's sort of behind a couple other short/feature projects we're going to try to do.
Comment. I think if you asked everybody in your crew to go see it, I think you have everything.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And
That would be awesome.
And it's had a great festival run, right?
Yeah,
Like,
we're
you've
in
been
23, 24 so far.
24 festivals.
Yeah. Another one.
And this is
next
the
week.
peak.
This is the yeah,
No.
of course.
But I saw more hands.
I saw one.
People brushing their hair,
Yeah.
actually. Well, thank you so
Cool.
much.
No
It's
problem.
a great film, and that was a great way to close it.